Hey everyone, I'm Jazz and that's Shar, and we are Black Girls Gab. Today we are going to be recapping The Bachelor. I think we're on episode 6, right?
I
Or is it
actually
7?
I don't know. I didn't write it down this time.
I think it's 6. It's whichever one where Heather is there. So let's dive in. Go ahead, Shar. Start us off.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with the 2-on-1. This fake 2-on-1. I feel like I didn't think I was gonna miss the 2-on-1s like how they used to be 2, 3 years ago, but I kind of miss it. I kind of miss when they like have like a villain go on a 2-on-1 and then like they leave somebody on a mountain somewhere or whatever. And we're not getting any of that. It's here's this manufactured thing where we're supposed to believe these two people don't like each other, and neither of them are gonna be picked by Matt anyway. So it's like whatever. I the only thing that kind of surprised me, I knew MJ was gonna go, but I was like, oh, maybe he's not gonna give it to Jasenia either. And he, gave her the rose. That was nice enough. It was funny that she called her Meredith. That made me laugh. I just love. She is a very well. First,
Wow.
she's striking. Jasenia,
Yeah.
beautiful. She's striking, whatever. But she's so composed. I'm like,
Yes.
who taught you how to be this composed? Because I would not be that composed if someone like MJ was yelling at me, talking about that her actions speak louder than words. I'd be like, not like that. But she's so poised, and then her responses were her clapbacks were so great.
They
And
were.
when she said Meredith, I laughed out loud. There were a few times this episode where I laughed out loud.
I know.
It was so funny. I loved it. I thought she did a great job.
I know. I was literally like cackling. Like when she said Meredith, I was like, Meredith! Oh, I was dead.
Yes.
But honestly, you could just tell that like, because even I almost called her Meredith, but MJ she had a couple like little things here, here and there. Let me fluff my hair. I forgot who I was for a moment. I had a weak moment, but I'm back. Like, and I was like, wow, like where was this energy? Like I kind of felt like she had that energy, but she didn't show it until this week, which was annoying. But Jasenia was a class act. I loved it. I appreciated it. She was great. Honestly, I loved everything about it, how
I
she
feel
handled it.
Senya was the girl that we all want to be when like you're super mad and somebody's really getting annoyed, but you just can't. I know for me, like my Pisces behind, I just want to cry and go to the corner. And she's like, no, I'm gonna sit here, give you every insult with poise, a smile on my face. I'm looking better than you, blah blah. And I loved it. Loved when she came back in with her rose, and I thought that was cute. And that was it. So bye bye MJ. Technically, all the mean girls are gone now. The top
Oh,
we gotta I know we got somebody else that we'll come to, but for the most part, they're gone.
yeah.
So that was good. So then we moved on to the rose ceremony. So by now
Mhm.
MJ has left, and then also Ryan left, which I assumed she was gonna go, but I was a little bit confused with her reaction. Did you see how much she was crying?
Yeah, she really felt like that was her man after a week, and I don't know how she felt that way, but I was
It's
just
it's
it was
so
weird.
hard. It's so hard to know because of course we don't see every conversation or whatever, but even if they had a super stellar conversation, I just don't know how she could have had that it looked like a final two reaction to me. It was very dramatic.
It even looked like a final five, and it was like you just got there though. You literally just got there last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, she must really felt like there was a connection, but they didn't show it.
I okay. Well, she was
Yeah.
not enough, but whatever. She left. Brittany left, which was, kind of unfortunate because I feel like she came there.
All
They
this drama happened, then
Yeah, they slandered her name and then she had to go. But she was nice and I'm sure we'll see her again. And then Queen Maggie left. That was
I
sad.
know, I know. I mean, we should have expected it after he did that dance, and she was just like, "Yeah, yeah,
I'm surprised she didn't leave on her own accord. I would have been like, well, thanks for that. And I'm
yeah,
gonna go.
yeah, yeah." And honestly, I was not expecting. What is he at? His final 9 right now, or 10? I
Niner.
think it's 9 now after Katie, but I was not expecting this group, and so I'm just kind of like, what is happening? I
Yeah, there's
mean,
a couple people who are off. I know for us,
yeah,
I think the two people who are really off that we wanted here were Mari and Lauren, and they're not here. Those
yeah,
two, and then instead we have like Serena C and
yeah,
other people. It's just like I don't know why you people are here, but here we are. We're in
yeah.
final 9 or 10. So those people go home. And then it gets announced that Piper is getting the one-on-one. I was very excited.
Me
We
too.
talked about Piper last week. She's a class act. She's funny. She's spicy. I was ready to see her on the date. What did you think?
Yeah, me too. I was really excited. Only thing I really have to say is like when she got the date, I was like, yay, Piper finally has a date, but Serena C needs to go home. Like that's what I felt when
I'm just so surprised that she's still there. Like, I don't know how she's skid by, and maybe it is because she's the last mean girl, so they're kind of like, oh, keep her or whatever, because she did start stirring up some stuff. This is after
she
Piper.
still does too. She has good commentary, so
She does. She makes me laugh. She does, but her whole argument with Katie to me was like,
it was stupid. It was. I mean, you could just tell young-minded people. She's a young-minded person.
yeah. I just think that as soon as these girls, which and honestly, I think a lot of these girls do not watch the show, maybe, and maybe that's why, I don't know, but it's very clear that if the lead wants time with you, they will spend time with you. If Serena C is mad that she's not getting time with Matt because Katie brought up drama, it has nothing to do with Katie and the drama. It's because he doesn't like you. Period.
Right.
He doesn't like you. And that's fine. He can't like all of you. He's not for everybody. So it's just the way it is. But I think it gets perceived like that every year. And it's like, this, if he wanted to make time for you, he would. That's it. So that whole argument to me was ridiculous. Okay, so the Piper date. I was very excited.
Wait, before we get to Piper, they started planting seeds that Heather was coming when she showed up in the minivan, and then I don't understand how Hannah Brown needs to stay out of it. She said Hannah Brown said he would be a perfect match for me, and I'm like, how? How? She's like, I just want to meet him. And then Chris Harrison was like, all right, well, go back to your motel. I'm like, he played the crap out of her. Motel, and we'll let you know.
So for me, so many of these things are wrong. But let me say, because I know you didn't watch this part of Chris Harrison's interview, but Chris Harrison did an interview with Rachel Lindsay. He talked a little bit about the Heather thing. According to Chris, he said that Heather/Hannah Brown were calling producers, during quarantine saying, hey, once Matt got announced, hey, Heather wants to be on the show, let Heather on the show. The producers said no. What they said. Did not tell Chris Harrison, supposedly. Chris Harrison knows nothing about it. They're calling producer friends. The producers are saying no, no, no. Said no up until they cast the girls and Matt goes to Nemacolin. Get to Nemacolin, still no Heather because she was not casted. She keeps calling, blah, blah. Then she just shows up. This is what they're saying. I don't know if this is true or not, but she just showed up. And the producer's like, okay, if you want to just show up, you can show up. We'll just call Chris and tell him, that you're here and whatever. So that was kind of what we saw. That's what they're saying. I don't know how true or not true that is. I'm assuming the part about Chris coming and, that conversation, that all seemed fake to me. That don't seem too real to me. But who knows? I do think that she asked to be on the show for months and they told her no. Like, I don't think they wanted her there. And then if she keeps insisting, they're like, well, we already have all this drama. She's here at the door anyway. So it's like, why not? Mm-hmm. And it was funny when he said the motel thing. I just felt like, for me, it's so weird because Heather calls Hannah Brown her best friend. I keep hearing them say best friend.
Yeah.
You're my best friend. If you let me do something like that, get in a freaking minivan to go meet some guy that you think might get along with me or not, this is embarrassing. And this is not what best friends do. This is when you call your best friend and say, hey, this is not going to be a good look for you. Any way you slice it, dice it, we all know this was never going to be a good look for Heather. And of course, they made her look like a fool on the thing. But I don't know how it could have went a different way. I don't know in her mind when she was imagining going to Pennsylvania, how this was going to go any different for her. Unless she got casted with the original cast. And I'd be like, okay. But she knew that she didn't. And she knew that it was far into it now. So how else did you think that this was going to go? And how else did you think that they were going to paint you?
But also, her friend knew that she did it. So as a friend, I'm not going to be like, yeah, even though the producers don't want you there, still go. And also, I think it's weird because if she was my best friend, I'm not going to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to introduce you to him when he gets on the show. He was friends with Hannah right after Hannah's season.
Correct.
Peter's season came and went. That was at least 3 months where she could have introduced him to Heather if she really felt like that was the man of Heather's dreams. But she didn't. She waited until he became the Bachelor.
Correct.
So it's sus.
Correct. From what I understand, And we know that at the beginning of quarantine, Tyler and Matt went to go quarantine in Florida, where Tyler is from. Hannah went to go quarantine there as well.
Right.
Tyler lives in California or wherever she lives, so she was not there. But
Mhm.
apparently, as soon as Hannah Brown moved to LA, because she moved to LA sometime during the quarantine, I don't know when, and kind of met up with Heather. She said, "Oh, I just spent all this time with Matt James. You would be great for Matt."
Mm.
So who knows? Like, I'm sure they didn't meet, but who knows if maybe they talked on the phone? Who know? Like, regardless, it clearly didn't go anywhere because here he is. He's the Bachelor now, and it's like, as a friend, okay, you tried to hook your friend up before he was the Bachelor. It didn't work. We just have to stop it now because now
Right.
it's embarrassing. Like, it's not a good look, and I don't know. I feel like Hannah was. I'm not saying she was trying to play her friend, but I don't see how else this is working. Like, unless Heather was super persistent of, hey, remember 6 months ago when you told me that? But it seemed like Hannah was kind of like, go, go, go. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's a good friend. But honestly, I think that Heather is going to be very irrelevant. Um,
Me too.
yeah, so we can just talk about Piper now because it's what it is.
I agree. The Heather thing, I'm just like, oh, I don't care. Okay, so Piper, one thing I don't like that we're not seeing Matt pick up the girls. They already show them like in the car or like walking out. Like, we never see him walking into the group of girls anymore since like everything went down with Sarah. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that I kind of missed that. But I was so excited to see it start. And he was so cute. They were in the Jeep. He gets all these nice fancy cars too every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Big budget for the Bachelor versus the Bachelorette. Like, when you see what Tayshia got, she got like some crap, and then it's crazy. I think it's just
Yeah.
different shows. But it was very cute when they were driving up and he gave her the lantern. He's like, "Oh, what do you think we're gonna do?" And it was cute. And then
Very cute date.
yeah, it's very cute date. Flipped it on, and it was a whole carnival. I would have loved that date. I thought the idea for the date was so cute, and I thought the whole carnival part was very nice. What did you think?
Oh, I agree. I loved everything. If I had to pick a date, I think I would actually prefer that date versus like what Rachel got.
Me too. Me too. I
'Cause
think
it's
that's
fun.
my favorite date so far. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think this is like activity wise my favorite. I thought they had a good time together. They looked comfortable together. Makeouts as we knew that they love to do, whatever. So nighttime portion comes and she talks about her family and how they're not super verbal and she wants to be verbal about her feelings and this and that. And I feel her on all of that. Like, I get it. I think it's really sweet. And
But
I love her, but for some reason, I'm just not feeling it the way I thought. Like, to me, I thought this was gonna like shoe her in for basically final three. And for me, I don't feel like that. I
well,
just
he didn't even say he loved her back when she said I'm falling in love with, and then Rachel said it
yeah,
and
he
he said it
did.
back.
Yeah, but to be fair, he's only said it back to Rachel. Later in the episode, Serena P says it as well. He doesn't say it back to her either. So I don't think it's that bad. Of that part isn't so bad, but just like like when I see him with Michelle and with Rachel, I don't know. I just don't. I didn't feel like the same excitement that I felt. I was excited for her that she was on the date, but not so much for like their actual chemistry together. I don't know how else to explain it. I thought they were very sweet and nice, but then when I heard that she was falling in love, I'm like, oh, yikes! I don't think he's.
I don't think he's there yet. They look great together. I think they look better together than like he would with Serena P for sure. Um, but do you feel like he likes Serena P more? Like who would you say, like how would you rank it? Obviously Rachel, then Michelle, right? Those two.
Yeah.
But then where is Serena P, Bree, and Piper? Like where are they? And even I guess we could say Kit, I guess, at this point.
Yeah,
But
I really wish I could tell you because right now, like if it were up to me, I would love to see Bree get a second date because I want to see it because she was the first one, so now it's hard to say. But honestly, after Michelle and Rachel, I'm lost. Like, I'm lost now because everybody else was so far back and he's just not. I don't know. Do you feel like when I think back to like Nick Vile or all these people, like, by this point there was like some sexual energy going on
yeah.
with girls? Like, we saw people getting pushed up against stuff and lying down on pool tables and all this stuff. And I just feel like we're not seeing any of that. So it's hard to, and maybe because he's just not that sexual. I don't know, whatever. But I just can't grasp who he's really, really feeling other than Rachel, obviously, because we heard him say it. and then Michelle, just because we saw that comfortability and so much connection.
Yeah.
But like other than that, and the Piper makeout to me was the hottest thing that happened this whole
I agree.
so far. Like, and that was just a makeout in a freaking farm. Like, what's
Where's
happening?
where's the juice? I don't know. But that's the only reason why I feel like he might be more sexually attracted to Piper than maybe definitely a Serena P, but then maybe a Brie.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with that
you
too.
know, and I don't know about the comfort part because it seems like he's very comfortable with Brie, but we haven't been able to see that sexual
Yeah,
attraction, more so of like intimacy, emotional intimacy, but not the attraction like we saw with Piper. And I don't know if he's having that emotional intimacy with Piper the way he has with Brie. So
I
I'm lost too, to be honest.
and I think it's also hard for this season because I don't know, because Chris Harrison keeps saying, "Oh, the hometowns are coming up, only a couple weeks away." So I don't know if we're gonna get people getting a second one-on-one, which is normally a way for us to see, like, okay,
How it
is
progressed.
whoever gets a second one-on-one, they're doing great. So I would like to see that. But he's taken so many girls on a one-on-one, and we still have a big character to go, I would assume. Abigail, but from the previews that I see, Jasenia gets to go on a one-on-one.
Yeah, that's what it looks
So
like.
I don't think that any girl is going to get a second. So that's really annoying to me because why are we taking Jasenia on a date? Like, just take a second girl that we want to.
But I think that's telling, in terms of like where he is in his thought process. And I think it also shows his lack of ever falling in love and knowing what that feels like. He's like, let me just give every girl a shot at this point. I don't know. I mean, we're confused because I'm sure he's like, I don't know either. It's just these two people who I really feel something for. Everybody else is kind of like, whatever. I mean, I think between Piper, Bree, Serena, P, and I think they're like the next group. Then I feel like he likes Abigail and Piper, but he's kind of just like, or not Piper, Abigail and Kit,
Mhm.
right? And then you have who's left?
Chelsea,
Jasenia,
Jen.
and then it's Chelsea, Serena P, and then that's it, really, right? So it's kind of like the girls at the bottom, that Chelsea, Serena P, Jasenia, Abigail. Those are the girls I think he's trying to figure out which one he likes more. Um, but it's weird. It's weird.
I get that, and this was my issue that I had when we first started this
Yeah.
season. I had a huge issue with him not knowing the show, and obviously, every bachelor does not have to be the same with how they handle things. But if he were to have watched a couple seasons or whatever, you would know. You pick like 4 people you really like, and those people you kind of focus on. You can take those people on second dates, all this stuff. And instead, he decided he liked 10 people, and all these 10 people have to go on a one-on-one. This is not how it normally goes. And I'm not saying it has to be the same every time, but this is why we're not seeing any sort of buildup, because now we're seeing 10 girls get a one-on-one as opposed to 6 or whatever, and then those same girls getting a second. I think it would be a little bit easier for us to follow the storyline. But I blink my eye and Kit's getting a one-on-one and Jasenia's getting a one-on-one. It's like, stop. Pick the 4 or 5 that you like, take them on their one-on-one, and then especially someone like Brie who got the first one. So you mean to tell me that Brie is never going to get a second one-on-one? That's ridiculous to me.
I mean, not until she's in the final.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 maybe.
And
If that's if she's there.
I'm not feeling that. Like someone like Michelle, I would love to see her get a second one-on-one.
But that's definitely not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But on a season, if this was Nick's season and he liked me, she would have got a second one-on-one. Like, it's just too many people getting, so I don't like that. And it's just showing that he's like, what, like you said, never been on board. Like, well, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. And I wish there was a little bit more guidance, or the producers saying like at the beginning, hey, like, you don't have to know everything right now, but pick some people who you really like and maybe choose them earlier so you can go on another date with them later. I feel like they didn't tell him anything like that. They was like, oh, just go have some fun.
Yeah.
So he's
you're hot. We're just gonna, film and yeah.
I mean, I will say he's looking great on all these dates. My God,
Yeah.
excellent, great. So anyway, I thought the Piper date was very cute. But yeah, I just wasn't feeling it so much. But now, like you said, Art, after the Rachel Michelle group, it is Piper, Brie, and who's our other
Serena P. That's it.
So one of them will be in the fantasy suite. So who knows? Piper could even go to the fantasy suite. I don't know, but it's so hard to tell. So
yeah, I'm all confused now. I'm all confused.
That's where I'm at with Piper.
But I will say one thing that I'm not mad about is the
Mhm.
fact that the girls are. I mean, they're 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 starting to get browner and browner. To be honest, like he only has like what,
Oh,
two white girls, three white girls, and I'm not really sure if what Abigail is, if she is white or if she might be biracial or
I think she's Caucasian. I'm
you
pretty
think
sure.
she's Caucasian? Okay, I'm not sure, but I mean, really, it's Rachel, Chelsea, no, Rachel, Kit, and Abigail.
Yeah,
Everybody else is a woman of color,
I know.
which, hey, I'm not mad at. I'm very surprised. I thought it was going to be like
I
not
mean,
the way it is.
right now our top five are four POCs and one white girl.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty cool. It's pretty,
yeah, pretty cool. I mean, even though we still think and
yeah,
that he's probably going to pick the
yeah.
one white girl, but at the end of the day, if he doesn't, I mean, a chance is 1 out of 5.
I know. And it's like girls that he actually is connected to, not just, oh, I'm going to carry you along. Like people that we've seen real connections with. I love it. I'm loving to see it. I'm loving to see him more comfortable. But again, I would like to see him narrow down a little bit more. You can't love everybody, Matt James, you know? So that's how I feel about that. But Piper's thing, very good. I'm excited for her. She seems excited. Fine. So now we start seeing, like you said, with Heather, and I don't care, but now we keep seeing like clips of her, you know, with pizza boxes on her head. She's now quarantined in the hotel room, so they let her come onto the property. Again, this is all just a little bit too convenient for me, you know, all of it's a little strange for me, but you know, we see her quarantining, and I just feel like they used, and again, I don't know how she thought they were gonna like edit her, but they made her look kooky and crazy. Like, oh, I'm just going stir crazy. I have my hair out of the window and I'm doing like she looked to me really bad. I don't know.
Yeah, they edited her really bad, I think.
I mean, and to be fair, I guess she gave them that footage, but it's like I just don't know what she really expected, and you know, so that's it for that. Poor thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the only thing that we haven't talked about yet is
I have two things. I have the group date and then Katie slash Tyler.
yeah. I mean, we don't even have to talk about the group date. I don't even remember the group date. Oh, yes, I do. The bowling.
The only thing about the group date that was funny was when they said, oh, one group is going to go home. I said, no, they're not, because Michelle was on one team and Rachel was on the other team. So I'm like, no, he's not going to let them both go.
Mm.
Yeah, no way. So when the Michelle group won, I'm like, no, his little fave is on the other team and Bree was on the other team. He's like, no, they all have to come. So that was it. But I don't even remember who got that rose. Oh, Michelle got it.
She got it.
Our queen. She's
Yep. Honestly, I was rooting for the pink team the whole time. I'm because I think it was Chelsea and Michelle.
yes.
Yeah, so I was like, oh yeah,
And your girl Serena
Serena
P.
P.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jasenia.
Oh, Jasenia. Yes. So that was a good team. I was happy for them. But as soon as I saw that his little fave was on the other team, I said, "Oh no, they'll all come." You know, whatever.
Mm.
So that was it about the group date. So Katie's date. So we'll start with Tyler. I mean, to see Tyler, you know, he's just such a dream.
Yeah, he really is. Like the more I was looking at him, I think he's one of those people who's going to look more attractive as he gets older. Like he has such like a DILF face. Like you know that when he gets older, maybe a little salt and pepper, he's going to be like, wow, just
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we knew this obviously from seeing him on Hannah season and whatever, but this man is just wildly attractive. And to see him back on this show was so exciting. We watched the show for a long time. I don't know if I've ever seen a more attractive contestant than Tyler Cameron. I mean, he's just a freaking star. So I was so excited. I just love him so much.
Yeah, he's
So
attractive.
and the best part to me about seeing him was how much Matt loves him. Matt is
Yes.
with Tyler. And I think
The hugs, but you could tell he was like constantly hugging him. I'm like, what a breeze, man.
but to be fair, like for most people who do the show, I guess everyone does the show, you don't see anybody you know for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You know,
And not your best friend who's known
exactly.
you.
And then you get to
Yeah.
see best friend, your bestie. It's exciting and whatever, but it's like, wow, they really are in love with each other. This is very cute. I thought that was so cute.
Yeah.
I was a little bit, there were a couple things I was sad about. I'm sure they talked for a while. I'm sure they did. But I hated that the only girl he got to meet was Katie. I was like, oh,
I
this
wanted
is,
to see I wanted to see how he thought or what he thought about the other girls.
yeah, like I wanted him to meet Michelle or Rachel, or I wanted him to do a group date. I wanted him to go on the group date, on the
Yeah.
bowling date. That would have been perfect for me because then all the favorites are on that group date. So it's like, okay, we can, kind of attest. But I'm sure he talked about all of them and showed pictures or whatever. So that was, fine. But as soon as we found out what the date was that Katie got to do, I was like, she's going home. Because
Yeah.
if you give her the funny date and you already know you have a friendship connection with her, why would you give her that date? You should give that
Right.
to somebody who you feel romantic about, right? I
Right.
would thought. So I already assumed she was going home. What did you think?
No, I agree. It just felt like it. Like you should want to build more of a romantic connection with her. And so if you wanted to do that, then you would take her on something that's a little bit more intimate, right? And in other seasons they've done that. Like they've taken them to do like, I don't know, like couples yoga or couples massages, right? Like they could have done that instead of,
Yeah.
like, it just didn't make sense.
And his thought process was, oh, she's funny and fun, so she'll like to do this prank, which is true, but all that does is dive her deeper into the
Right,
front.
right. It just solidifies that. Yeah, it was stupid. Yeah, it didn't make any sense, and I think she knew it was coming as
I
well.
I
So
agree. Quite savvy, so I assume she already knew. I'm getting the friendship date. I'm kind of the one who's been the whistleblower here.
it's
It kind
my
of,
time.
yeah, it's my
Yeah,
time. I think they had fun with it. I thought it was pretty funny. Tyler, he's hilarious, but I was
hmm
upset that that was the only person he got to meet. I'm like, I don't want him to meet Katie.
yeah.
I
I
want
know.
Piper or somebody else, Michelle, somebody. I'm like,
Yeah, I nail it. Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
But who knows? Maybe they'll bring somebody else, like a Mike Johnson, in, or they
Oh,
probably wouldn't. Well, I know
that
he's still close to him, or even Rachel. Did they brought in Rachel?
Well, no, but well, maybe, but they did bring in the day that Sarah.
I suspect that you can tell the producers are, and we'll tell you what we're talking about. Me and Charnel are on the same page. Go ahead, just tell them what happened, because this is sus.
So
The
the day,
producers are really sketchy this
yeah,
season.
yeah. So basically, that whole, and everyone has these conspiracy theories that Sarah's coming back because, to be fair, that Sarah thing took a whole episode, took 2 hours of those girls fighting over it, bullying her, their breakup. Though it was the whole episode. So the episode ended with him and his little lumberjack get up, on the stoop, upset, whatever. So then the next episode pops up, and they're already on the night portion of the group date. And I remember me and you saying,
Oh,
"This
for
is
this,
why."
yep,
I'm like, oh, the day date must have not been that important. I remember saying that.
yep.
That is very incorrect because both Tayshia and JoJo were there that day filming for the day date, and they cut all of it. Now, why do you think that? To me, that's very confusing that you spent 2 hours having a storyline about a girl who was leaving on the second or third episode. I think that was the third episode, versus giving 15 of those minutes to the last bachelorette and one of your most popular bachelorettes.
Right.
Really weird to me.
It
So
is
people are really
weird.
back. I don't know. I just think that the editing was sloppy to me. That's all that's on spent on her doing that. It's like, why else would you do it,
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that was odd. It was odd because I remember even seeing in the Bachelor preview
Yeah.
that he was sitting on the stoop in his red lumberjack shirt or jacket, and he was like, "I'm not okay. I'm not okay." But we didn't even see that.
Yeah. So maybe they'll do I don't, if Sarah comes back, I'm really lost. But if she does come, maybe they'll do a flashback to show it. Because why would they not play, even if she doesn't come back, why wouldn't they have played that episode, him on that stoop? Because that was a really real moment. Why would they?
Right.
It's just all very, that Sarah thing was handled very weirdly to me. And maybe those are clues that she's coming.
I
Don't,
hope not.
I hope not either, because now it's like really late. If she would have came like a week ago or whatever, now it's like actually kind of late. And I feel like, knowing Matt, he'd be all confused and
He wouldn't be able to make. He'll be like, It would
Yeah,
just be a mess. I honestly wouldn't even want to see that. So I hope that didn't happen.
I wouldn't either, but he really liked her with that. So I'm like, oh, I wouldn't be feeling that. But that was really it. So Katie went, she got the boot. She seemed okay with it. Um, and we'll see if we see her again. I'm sure we'll see her on Paradise if nothing else. And that was it. So I think we ended with Katie going.
Heather. Heather
Oh,
coming in, them being mean to
yes.
Heather.
Oh,
And
I do want to say a quick thing about that. Firstly, it was so funny when she couldn't open the door and Brie was like, oh, oh, oh.
and also, was Brie wearing the green dress during
No,
that?
no. During the rose ceremony, the beginning of the episode, she had on,
Oh, gorgeous.
yeah, same colored green dress as night one, but it was a different dress. But the dress was beautiful.
Yes.
This rose ceremony, she had on a white dress, and then she had a red lip. Remember, it got all of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was fine. But Piper was in there with Matt talking. And so
And this is why you're not feeling her. You could just because she seems like she's like almost she's too much of a spitfire. Like she's like I
and I
don't know, just real spicy for no reason almost.
yes, and we mentioned this last week. And even if it's for a reason or whatever, I just don't really think it's for Matt. I just don't think that type of thing is for Matt. But to be fair, if I were her, I would have been a little bit mad too. Not reacted. I think she was just mad about Heather. But I would have been mad because Matt thought it was so funny. Like he's just laughing so much. He can't stop laughing. And I think it's just a nervous thing. I think he was just nervous. And so he just busts out laughing. But she came out hot. She was like, oh. And then she was like, who the F is it? So she didn't even know who it was. The only person who knew who it was
Brie, right?
no, was your girl Serena P. She knows who everybody is. She said,
Oh.
that's Hannah Brown's best friend. That's Heather. Blah. So she knew exactly who she was when she came out. But yeah, it all seems like they're going to be mad at her. She's going to be crying. I mean,
she won't be there for long.
no.
I don't think he's interested. And I was going to say, and to be honest, I don't know that many guys that would want to be the second kiss of a girl who's almost 30 years old. And if you're looking for a wife, I mean, I would feel the same way. No, listen, I know you. You'd be like, yeah, I'm not really sure if I want to feel like teaching. It's not even like a guy to girl thing. This is like an anybody thing.
No, yeah.
Damn near 30 years old. Do you want to be teaching somebody? And not only that, but you don't even know what love is like. Now you got to teach somebody how to kiss.
Okay, so I agree with you. I'm laughing mad hard because you're now under the assumption that she kissed Colton and then never kissed anyone again. That's what you think? I don't know.
I thought I heard that.
Oh, that could be true. I didn't know that. That's why I was laughing. I didn't know. Oh,
no, I think that was her first and only kiss.
I know it was her first. You know what? The Heather, yeah, we can finish this off with Heather. The Heather thing back on Colton's season, that wasn't even endearing to me. I feel like they tried to set it up as
weird.
Like, oh, he's never had sex and she's never been kissed, so this should be endearing. None of it was endearing to me. Again, no shaming, no nothing like that. It's not that. But to me, that's not a storyline that you never kissed anybody. I'm over it. So that was so big.
And he didn't even look like a good kisser to begin with. I was looking at his lips. I think people said that he's not a good kisser either. You can just tell.
Jasmine, are you surprised? Honestly,
his lips are all thin. Yeah, I wasn't feeling it.
He doesn't look like it. But it's like, yeah, you're right. For the second kiss, is that what you want? And firstly, he doesn't want to be with her, obviously, because to me, they have a very tight connector friend. They're both very close to Hannah. If he was interested at all, he would have made it clear to Hannah and to her. He would have pursued her. He didn't do it. In whatever way, maybe they spoke, maybe they didn't, but he didn't do enough to have anything. And I feel like she just is what I would deem to be, I don't know what her sign is, but she seems like a hopeless romantic to me. She's begging to get on the show. Yeah. They tell her she can't be on the original cast. She just shows up. Even if it was kind of calculated or whatever, she knew she wasn't on the original cast. So you still know you're coming in late. This is not a Nick Viall and Caitlyn situation where you're coming in late. This is not the same thing.
They at least talked, had a connection.
Yes, they had a connection. And maybe she thinks that she was in the back of some of Hannah Brown's FaceTimes with Matt and they have a connection. To me, this is more of a reflection, and I hate to say this, but to me, it's more of a reflection on Hannah than it is really on Heather. Because to me, Heather seems a little spacey,
naive.
you know, and we know her experience is very limited. So, and I'm not making that as an excuse, but whatever. But Hannah Brown, you were the Bachelorette. You have more sense than this, and you should not be having your friend out here looking like an idiot. You just shouldn't. So, you know, that's kind of that. I'm excited to see what happens with that next week. But apparently the girls were saying if she stays, I'm going. So he's not going to keep her. If any of those girls want to go, he's like, okay, you got to go. Sorry.
Yeah, it's over, Heather. But actually, I mean, that episode overall, it was lackluster. I mean, I feel like the next episode is also not going to be great, but it will get good in 2 weeks. I think that's hometowns, or fake hometowns. But
it's crazy. That's already hometowns. Wow.
Yeah, but I hope we can see more.
I relationships. So. I'm just so, because honestly, I thought at the beginning of the season we saw previews for him and Chelsea to go on a date. And I'm like, this is too many people. But in my mind, that preview was them like race car driving, and that's what him and Jasenia were doing. So I was like, oh, maybe that's actually a group date. That's not like it's something. I want girls. Well, I guess we still need Abigail to go on one, but I don't think she's going on one. But I just want old girls to get another one. I want Bree to get another one. I want Michelle to get another one, and Rachel or whatever to get another one. That's it. So
I don't think Rachel and Michelle are going to get another one until they're like in the top 3. Honestly, I have no clue what's going to happen. I'm just like, I have no clue.
Jasmine, Matt doesn't even know what's going to happen.
And that's exactly what I was going to say.
And by this time, all the leads, they basically know what's going to happen. I feel like Matt doesn't know if the wind is blowing this way. He doesn't know. When decision day comes, he'll decide. And that's it. So I hope he just makes a decision that's right for him. I hope he doesn't do some switcheroos, some Ari or Peter Weber. I don't want any of that. Pick who you want to pick. And could you imagine? Oh my God.
No, I hope that doesn't happen.
No. I think he's very prideful. I think even if he picked the wrong person, he wouldn't do anything like that.
I guess we'll see. I got nothing.
Yeah, that's it. That's all from me.
That's all. Well, we hope you all enjoyed this episode of Black Girls Gab. Like, subscribe. Let us know how you feel about this episode or this recap. And follow us on Instagram @Black Girls Gab.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Peace.